As soon as you mention social work or your Wayne's knowing your care, a lot of people just like think the worst of you and they don't actually think about situations that have happened for it to go like that. But they don't feel judged here at all. I like it.
When you're working with women who have lost the care of their children, it's a very taboo subject. There's not somewhere within society in which they are accepted. And it's led to, I suppose, a large proportion of women who've lost their children to be in a group called disenfranchised grief, where it's not socially acceptable for them to experience grief because it's their fault in a way that their children have been removed. We try and help the women take away all the stigma, take away all the judgment and provide them with a safe space in which they can talk about their experiences of being a mum. Something again that was made very clear to me was just because we don't have our children in our care doesn't mean we're not mums.
Martha's Mammies is now a highly regarded service that supports vulnerable women who have lost care of their children, who face multiple and complex issues. The staff at Martha's Mammies are trained in trauma-informed practices, recognising that many of the women that they work with have histories of trauma and abuse.
Our team is set up as myself as a team leader. We have 3 social care workers, we have 1 mental health nurse, we have 1 family group decision-making worker and 1 peer mentor.
This approach is crucial in helping women feel safe and supported as they work through their challenges.
We're all through the same thing, but apart from when you're in that position, you think it's only you that it's happening to, but when you come here, everybody's sort of in the same boat.
There was a proportion of women who completed suicide. Glasgow looked at that, and I suppose it wasn't the reason, but their experience of the loss of their children was a contributing factor to their decision to end their life. I think for Glasgow as a whole, that was about thinking about our responsibility within that and how we support women after the removal of their children.
There was a recognition across a number of key services that there was a gap in service provision for women in the child protection system who were not being supported.
Because if it wasn't for Costa, I wouldn't actually have anybody. If it wasn't for Martha's Mammies, I wouldn't have had anybody.
I struggled a bit with other services and social work and stuff. I was always afraid to be honest with them because obviously my daughter's in foster care and I didn't want to make things worse for myself. I was scared to be honest, but now that I'm working with Kirsty, I can speak to her and I can speak to how I feel and stuff like that.
So we do loads of activities. We've got like the cooking group, we've got the bike group, arts and crafts, which they do like a maker's market. Last year they sold all the stuff into other services as well. But the one that the women love the most is like the cooking and the bikes.
I can't cook, so I'm learning here.
You don't feel like, oh no, I can't go to that. Because when they said about group work, I was kind of like, oh, I'm not really good in groups of people. But it's more because of like how my previous behaviour in that's been, whereas here, you just feel so relaxed. It's like going home to home and everybody's like family in here, so it's brilliant.
So the women, quite a lot of the women, it took a long time to get them to the groups. Some of the women will come and they get off just the first time they'll attend. Some of the women I've worked with have took like a year and a half to actually attend the groups. Now they're here, they absolutely thrive in it. They've built really strong relationships with the staff. They've met peers with themselves. They've got good support down here. They can speak to people who's going through the same situations themselves.
My social worker put me in contact with them and it took me about 5 attempts before I actually came. But when I came, it like helped me a lot.
If a woman tells us that she's not ready for Martha's Mammies support, then we ask her if we can try again in a couple of months' time. We like to make sure that women know that their decision not to engage with us to start with isn't punished when they decide they do want to engage with us. We're a very open service and we are led by the women.
A lot of anger was held for me with social work, and rightly so to be there, but also there was a lot of stigma that I picked up in the recovery communities, where if somebody would walk in and their title was social work, whether it was criminal justice, children and families, didn't matter, the full room didn't want to know. I had to do a lot of working on that. As I say, I couldn't go into the office to begin with, that was a big us in name, but I think that's just stuff that's built over time, and that creates a big barrier.
So very much from the outset, we were keen that Martha's Mammies is co-produced with women with lived experience, so that really sits at the heart of what we do here, and that stems back to even the beginnings of the service, coming up with a name for the service, some of the kind of underlying principles and ethos behind how we deliver the support that we do here. From a very early stage, we were lucky enough to get some time with a lived experience women's reference group within the Alcohol and Drug Partnership in Glasgow, and spent a few hours with that group talking about their experiences.
And to bring that barrier down, you have to see proof of stuff changing, and that was what happened to me. I seen proof. So I remember when they're talking about Martha's Mammies, and I was thinking to myself, I hope that service definitely gets set up to then them come back and let us name it. So they showed us this time they were listening to us. They showed us, let us see, they came back to let us name the service. Then they had been into the service, they took us on, they've had lived experience at the heart, very started. So I suppose the change in the system, but also my mindset has changed a good bit as well. The system has helped me this time round. The social work have actually been a big part in helping me. But it did take for me to let down guards, but also for me to see the proof instead of just the speech, which we did see. We seen the proof of the actions and that with Martha's Mammies getting set up, which for me, it helped big time.
It's mainly outreach as well we do, so what happens is it's whatever the woman suits. So sometimes we'll say to the women, do you want us to do home visits? And if they agree to that, we'll do home visits. Some women, if they're still in a relationship where there's domestic abuse, they'll tend to come in here. So it depends on the women how they feel comfortable more at their own home, or if some women are maybe talking about the trauma of their kid being removed, they feel they don't want to sit in their own house, they'll come in here, so it's a safe place. Safe. Make a cup of tea, that's your kitchen.
I didn't have any confidence or anything like that at all until I started coming here. Now I would talk to anybody.
I'm actually in recovery, so coming here, if I'm having a day where I feel like, oh, I just can't do this, I'll come down here. And even if there's no groups on, like you can come down here and they've got like the relaxation room, which has got like a massage chair and stuff, and you can do that, and the workers let you have like a cup of tea, they'll make you lunch. Like, it's brilliant, the service they've got here.
It's just good because it's people that's gone through the same thing as you, so you don't understand each other, you know what I mean, and we help each other through it. So it's good that way, you can support each other. And I think that was the biggest aspect that I liked, because you're not just alone going through this.
Aye, it's kind of helped me see, like, no matter if my daughter's going to come back next year or when she's 16, that I still want to be in a good place for her and stuff like that.
I've got 3 qualifications now. When I started Martha's Mammies, I had nothing, and I don't even know if I had the hope to do it. And that was me 10 years after losing my child. My child's 13 this year. This place has just given me a lot of acceptance, a lot of love for myself, a lot of compassion for myself, all the stuff that I was missing before I came into the service. I maybe faked it to make it a wee bit, and I would maybe have that attitude, but inside I was dying, I was screaming for help. And finding this place is letting me accept myself. It's letting me find myself that wee bit more. And it's safe to say that I live a good, honest life today, and I'm happy. And that's all I ever wanted for life, was to be happy, and I'm happier than what I was before. So.
But once I come out of that, like, I can phone them and just say, this is how I feel, and they're there to listen. That's what I like they're there when you need them.